If you've been feeling anxious, overwhelmed, burned out, or just off in some way, you're not alone. And you're definitely not broken. A lot of us are living with nervous systems that are stuck in survival mode, and we don't realize it. We're very used to it. Instead, we just think we're lazy, unmotivated, too sensitive, or that we just can't get our act together. But what's really going on is much deeper. And this is actually the first lesson in an 8-part mini course that I've created here on YouTube. The course is designed to help you understand and heal your nervous system step by step so that you can finally start feeling more ease, more resilience, and more like yourself again. I truly believe that our nervous system is at the heart of our life more than most of us realize. It's the foundation for all the changes that we crave. So whether that's healing old wounds, creating new habits, experiencing more love and connection in our life, or simply living with more ease and authenticity. The nervous system is at the heart of all of that, which means that it's powerful and important for each of us to understand our nervous system better and to learn how to work with it instead of against it, especially if we're someone who wants to heal, change, or grow. In this first lesson, I'm going to walk you through 3 essential truths about your nervous system, and I'll show you how you can start shifting out of survival mode so that regulation can become more of your new normal. Hi, I'm Jess, and I help people create real lasting change by reconnecting with the wisdom of their body, especially the nervous system. With over 20 years of experience in yoga, meditation, and mind-body practices, I found that true growth isn't about how we think. It's about how we feel in our body. And when we learn to work with our body instead of against it, healing and transformation, they become a lot more possible. So I now work as a somatic coach. I support others in finding more ease, resilience, and authenticity in their lives. Not overnight, but for real. And it gets easier with practice. So let's dive in. Here's a simple way to understand your nervous system. Imagine this. You live in a house with faulty electrical wiring. So the lights flicker, the appliances short circuit, the internet's unreliable. You try replacing the light bulbs, you swap out the blender, you call the internet company. But the problems never get solved because the issue isn't what you can see. It's the wiring behind the walls. And that's exactly what happens when our nervous system is dysregulated. Right? We start chasing all these surface level symptoms: anxiety, brain fog, exhaustion, mood swings, stomach issues, chronic pain. Right? We try to fix them one by one, but nothing really sticks because the root issue is deeper. Our body is stuck in a survival response that shows up as nervous system dysregulation. So our nervous system is like our body's wiring, and it touches everything: our thoughts, our emotions, our digestion, the hormones our body produces, our immune system, energy levels, sleep, even our relationships. So when that system gets out of balance, everything else starts to feel off too. Here's truth number 1. Dysregulation can look so many different ways, and that can be confusing because nervous system dysregulation, it doesn't look the same for everyone. Right? Sometimes it feels like being stuck in high alert with too much energy, waiting for something bad to happen, even when everything around you is actually okay. We might lay awake at night, unable to turn our brain off, even though our body is completely exhausted. Or maybe we get chronic headaches or stomach issues, or we regularly snapped at loved ones over small things. And then other times, dysregulation feels more like being tired or disconnected, or just kind of dragging ourselves through the motions of life, right? We might struggle to make decisions, big or small, or we feel paralyzed, kind of unable to move forward in our personal or professional lives. And then other times, we might find ourselves overgiving or bending over backwards for people, not necessarily because we want to, but because it feels safer that way. And here's something that most of us don't realize. We can look totally fine on the outside, right? We're smiling, we're getting things done. We might even be succeeding in a lot of ways, and we can still feel really off inside. So if that sounds familiar, you're not dramatic, you're not lazy or too sensitive. Your nervous system is just dysregulated. And it's not malfunctioning. In fact, it's doing exactly what it was designed to do and what it learned to do at some point to keep you safe. It's just that those patterns don't match your life anymore. So truth number one is nervous system dysregulation can look and feel a lot of different ways. It doesn't mean something's wrong with us. It means our body is stuck in an old survival response that it doesn't know how to exit. And truth number two is that we can't think our way out of dysregulation. So when we're in that survival response, a lot of us try to find balance using techniques that not only don't work, but that often make things worse. So have you ever tried to think your way out of anxiety or force yourself to just relax? Yeah, me too. But here's the thing no one tells us. We can't logic our way out of a survival response. So when something in us feels off, a lot of us go straight to cognitive tools, mindset work, reframing, positive self-talk, talk therapy. And don't get me wrong, those tools can be really powerful, just not when we're dysregulated. Because dysregulation isn't a thinking problem. It's a physiological survival response. And we can't think our way out of survival. And here's why. 80 to 90% of the information our nervous system uses to decide whether we're safe or in danger, it comes from our body, which means only 10 to 20% comes from our mind. Take a moment and let that sink in. That means our body is doing most of the talking. So when our body is sending danger signals and our brain is trying to talk us into being and feeling calm, it's like being in a room with 100 people. 80 of them are screaming at you that you're in danger, and 20 are trying to convince you that you're fine. Who are you going to believe? Exactly. And that's why cognitive tools often fall flat when we're dysregulated. Because if the body doesn't feel safe, the brain can't override that. And here's the part that no one warns us about. When we try to use these cognitive tools to force ourselves into feeling calm, we often end up suppressing or disconnecting from what our body's actually feeling. And that creates more dysregulation over time. It's like we're turning down the volume on a fire alarm and hoping that that makes the fire go away. So what actually works? That's what this whole mini course is here to teach us, right? It's here to teach us how to stop telling our body that it's safe and to start showing it safety through felt experience. Because regulation starts with creating a felt sense of safety in the body. When our system truly feels safe, then the alarms turn off on their own because we're actually tending to the fire. And that's when healing starts to happen. So truth number two is we can't think our way out of dysregulation or talk our nervous system into feeling safe. We have to show it safety through felt experience. Truth number three, regulation is a skill that we can build. So let's zoom out for a second so that we can understand the nervous system itself. In a lot of ways, it's like a smart electrical system in a house. And this is an oversimplification, but generally speaking, one part of our nervous system powers us up. It gives us energy, focus, and drive. The other part powers us down. It helps us rest, digest, and recover. And our goal isn't to be calm all the time. What we want is a body that can move through these states in a way that's appropriate to the moment. A healthy system is a flexible one. And to understand that flexibility, we need to understand something called our window of tolerance. This is like our nervous system's sweet spot. It's the range where we feel grounded, present, connected, and we feel like our system can handle life's ups and downs without getting overwhelmed. So when we're inside this window, we're regulated. Our thoughts feel clear, we can respond instead of react. We feel more like ourselves. But when stress pushes us outside that window, that's called dysregulation. And like we talked about earlier, it might mean that we feel anxious and hyper alert, or that we feel numb and shut down. And here's something really important. Dysregulation isn't bad, and it's not a failure. It's our body doing exactly what it's designed to do, to protect us. So we just don't want to spend too much time in those dysregulated states, because that's when life's stressors become exhausting, isolating, and really hard to recover from. And one of the ways we can support our system in staying regulated more often is by helping our body widen that window of tolerance. And here's why that matters. Imagine a huge swimming pool. And now imagine dropping 5 drops of red food coloring into it. Almost nothing happens, right? The pool absorbs it easily. It doesn't get overwhelmed, turn red, or even pink. Now imagine putting those same 5 drops into a tiny glass of water. Immediately, the whole glass of water turns red. So if our window of tolerance is wide, like that swimming pool, then we can take in stress and still feel regulated. But if our window is small, like that glass of water, even the tiny stressors send us into dysregulation. So when our window is small like that, everything feels more intense and life becomes a lot harder than it needs to be. Here's the good news though. We can change this. Our window can widen. Regulation can become our new baseline. And that's exactly what this entire course is designed to help you do. Just like lifting weights makes our muscles stronger, every time that we consciously move between a dysregulated and a regulated state, we're training our nervous system. We're widening our window. We're building capacity and resilience. So truth number 3 is regulation is a skill we can build through practice. Just like we can strengthen a muscle, we can widen our window of tolerance. Let's bring it all together and quickly recap. Truth number 1 is that dysregulation can show up in so many different ways. Truth number 2, we can't think our way out of dysregulation. We have to show our body safety. And truth number 3 is that regulation is a skill that we can build. And that's why this work is so powerful. This 8-part series is a complete mini course. Each lesson builds on the last. So by the end, you'll have a clear embodied understanding of how to work with your nervous system. So to help you integrate what you're learning, I created a free downloadable workbook. It's filled with reflection prompts, nervous system mapping, space to track your capacity, and guided practice to help you build regulation and resilience. And you can grab that free book in the description below. And then you can click here or here to watch the next lesson where we'll dive into how nervous system dysregulation actually shows up. And we'll explore the 5 primary states so that you can start recognizing them in your own body. Because the more fluently we speak our nervous system's language, the more power we have to work with it instead of feeling hijacked by it. And remember, you don't need to fix yourself because you're not broken. You just need an updated skill set so that you can offer yourself a new kind of support. And if anything in this lesson hit home, leave me a comment. I do my best to read every one. And thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next lesson.